studios of ITN The News with Carol Barnes.
Welcome to the programme. The headlines tonight. Fears over chemicals in baby milk. The government refuses to name the brands. Chechen rebels strike a deal with Russia. The war could be over. And why lottery scratch cards may not produce an instant jackpot after all. The government is insisting tonight that there's still no need to name the 9 brands of powdered baby milk found to contain a chemical that can damage fertility. Health officials say the chemical traces are tiny and are advising parents to continue to use powdered milk. But baby food manufacturers have spent the day reassuring worried parents after being inundated with calls. Ian Glover-James reports.
Another food crisis, another test of consumer confidence. This time, parents demanding why the government won't name 9 baby milk brands containing chemicals used to soften plastics. Ministers say there's no risk because the levels are 100 times lower than danger point for these chemicals, called phthalates.
The phthalate chemicals are quite widespread in the environment, quite widespread in the packaging industry. If, of course, we have a concentration which gives rise to worries or problems or any risk to babies or the general public, we should take action on it.
Do you think the product should be named?
No, there is no risk at the moment. The levels that have been detected as a result of our food surveys, which we do all the time, show that it's not at a risk level in any of the baby milks involved, and therefore there is no need to name the products.
But doctors say mothers must know the full facts.
Until such time as the contamination is removed from these brands of baby milk, I think it's only fair to the public that we should actually know which brands have been contaminated so that parents can actually make an informed choice about the level of risk and as to whether to change to another brand.
Independent experts say the milk risk's slight.
The levels that are present in the baby milks are regarded as not dangerous, but clearly every effort should be made to get them as low as possible.
The Ministry of Agriculture's in the firing line again. This time it's baby milk, but the issue's the same. Whose interests are they serving? The food industries or the consumers? Ian Glover-James, ITN, Whitehall.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin and the Chechen separatists have struck a deal which could see an end to 17 months of fighting in Chechnya. There's to be a ceasefire starting next Saturday and an exchange of all prisoners. From Moscow, here's our correspondent Julian Mannion.
It was a sight few had imagined they would see. A motorcade carrying the Chechen rebel leader Zelimkhan Yanderbiev sweeping through the gates of the Kremlin for a dramatic meeting with the Russian President Boris Yeltsin. After just 2 hours of talks, camera crews were hurried down the Kremlin corridors for the signing of a ceasefire agreement which appeared to be conducted in some haste. The document calls for hostilities to end next Saturday and for the two sides to release all the prisoners they are holding within 2 weeks of that date. Yeltsin hailed the deal as historic, but after 17 months of fighting and several failed ceasefires, it is still unclear if this is a real step towards ending the war or simply a convenient pause for both sides. The rebels have been under massive pressure from the Russian army, losing a key base last week. Today their delegation confirmed that they would not be pressing their demand for independence in the Moscow talks, but claimed that they were offering a deal that would save Russia's face.
Our offer to the Russians is for them to stop the war and withdraw their troops.
For Boris Yeltsin, who's locked in a neck-and-neck election battle with the communists, it's been of vital importance to get a ceasefire before the first round of the poll next month. The question is whether this push for peace will last beyond the vote. For the vital issues which began this war and have cost the lives of perhaps 40,000 people remain for now unsolved. Julian Mannion, ITN, Moscow.
The government will try again tomorrow to block European Union legislation in protest at the British beef ban. Roger Freeman, a key minister in the government's BSE crisis team, may veto an EU proposal to cut red tape in Brussels. Our political correspondent Hugh Pym reports.
Tonight, the Cabinet's new BSE troubleshooter en route to Brussels defended the policy of disrupting European business. He said the mainstream of his party was behind it.
We want to draw attention to the very serious situation in this country, and we don't believe that all of our European partners have behaved with goodwill. We want to focus their attention on a matter of great importance to the United Kingdom.
That despite George Walden's savage attack on the government's non-cooperation policy. His threat to resign the Conservative whip makes an early election more likely, according to the Liberal Democrats. The Tories are breaking up, claimed, as Robin Cook flew back to London to review Labour's policy of qualified support for the government's battle with Europe.
We are very anxious to give what support we can to John Major in the national interest, but it's becoming very difficult to support a Conservative Party that itself is falling apart.
And there have been new accusations that the government's anti-BSE measures aren't tough enough. Environmental health officers claiming that some farmers may be taking back slaughtered cattle, which they're allowed to do, but then selling the meat. Amidst all the talk of an autumn election, Tory staff have denied reports they're mounting a rehearsal next weekend. And they say the decision to avoid taking holidays in October and November is purely a matter of common sense. Hugh Pym, ITN, at Conservative Central Office.
It's feared a 6-year-old British girl may be the latest victim of meningitis in Mallorca. 4 children on the Spanish holiday island have caught the disease in the last 2 weeks. 2 of them have died. Doctors say the latest case hasn't been confirmed as meningitis. In the final day of campaigning before the Israeli general election, the Prime Minister, Shimon Peres, has made a plea for the peace process to continue. It's been a tightly fought campaign, with Mr. Peres' hardline rival, Benjamin Netanyahu, now just behind him in the opinion polls. Here's our Middle East correspondent, Robert Moore.
These were the final hours of campaigning for Prime Minister Shimon Peres. At stake not just his own leadership, but his whole vision of Middle East peace. A return to power by the right wing, he warned Israelis, would be a disastrous step backwards, reigniting conflict with the Palestinians. But appearing confident, he spent much of the day simply in his office, believing he has done enough to secure victory.
They are the most essential, shall I say, the most crucial elections in the history of the State of Israel.
His opponent, Benjamin Netanyahu, has been winning the support of influential rabbis. The religious vote is a crucial one here and could yet make the difference. Some pollsters are suggesting there is a last-minute swing towards Netanyahu that could yet make him the next Prime Minister of Israel. The main campaign rallies planned for tonight were cancelled on security grounds. Intelligence sources still say there are militants planning outrages to disrupt Wednesday's voting. As a result of the severe security restrictions, this campaign has been low-key. But most Israelis accept the elections are going to shape the future, not just of the Jewish state, but of the whole region. Despite polls showing an increasingly tight contest, Mr. Peres is exuding confidence, saying that the peace process will be the victor after Wednesday's voting. Robert Moore, ITN, Israel.
Concern is growing tonight over the safety of a young French student who disappeared in Cardiff on Saturday. 17-year-old Fanny Poulter had been working at a local hotel. Police say she may be worried she'll get into trouble for not going back to work. Prison officers have begun an official work to rule, which is threatening to cause major disruption to prisons in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Many of the 30,000 members of the Prison Officers Association are protesting against cuts. And Cambridge police have charged a man tonight with a firearms offence after another alleged road rage attack. The man has been bailed to appear in court at a later date. Millions of people who buy lottery scratch cards could be playing for £50,000 jackpots that have already been claimed. Poor communications between lottery organisers and some card outlets mean it could take up to 2 days for news to get through that the money's already been won. Tim Wilcox reports.
They're played by 30% of the adult population, sell at the rate of nearly 50 a second and scratch up an annual turnover of more than £1 billion. But the odds of winning the big cash prizes could be much worse than they seem, with some shops potentially selling instants 1 or even 2 days after the top prizes have been claimed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's because Camelot has to notify a third of its retailers, which don't have computer terminals, about the wins by post.
We have 30,000 retailers out there and it's very difficult. If we were to inform them all by phone, it takes 6 weeks. So it's actually a more effective system to send first a retailer terminal message and then to send them a letter.
The top prizes on scratch cards are normally £50,000 and £25,000. An average of 20 million scratch cards sell each week. But if there's a delay in notifying outlets, another £6 million worth of tickets could be sold after the top prizes have already been claimed. Camelot, which makes a penny profit per ticket, insists this has never happened, adding that top prizes have always been available even in games they've closed down. The lottery watchdog Oflot is refusing to investigate. Camelot, it says, is operating within the game rules. Tim Wilcox, ITN.
Soccer and Leicester City are back in the Premiership after a dramatic late win over Crystal Palace in the First Division playoff final at Wembley. Steve Claridge was the Leicester hero with a volley in the last minute of extra time to give them a 2-1 victory. And England's cricketers have beaten India in the final one-day international at Old Trafford to take the series 2-0. A century from Alistair Brown in only his third international saw England home by 4 wickets. The Surrey batsman hit 2 sixes and 10 fours in his innings of 118. And that's the news tonight. From me and the ITN Weekend team, good night.
Hello, good evening. After a half-decent day today, it's back to wind and rain again tomorrow. It just seems to be the way of things this spring. Tonight will be dry for many people, quite clear and cold in the east, but by the end of the night the next lot of rain will be around, and after a bright start for some, the rain will move east across the rest of Britain during the day tomorrow. You can see how things are shaping up on the satellite sequence. The cloud over Britain today has been breaking up fairly steadily. Most people have had some sunshine, but at the same time the swirl of cloud out to the west has been developing, and that large area of cloud will bring us all wind and rain during the day tomorrow. Let's look at tonight though in more detail. A dry night for many people, clear and cold in the east, but by the end of the night the rain will be well established down the western side of Britain. Still there first thing in the morning, but it won't be long before it moves fairly steadily eastwards across the rest of Britain during the day. So a bright start in the east, but soon becoming cloudy with rain moving across from the west. The heaviest rain always in the north and west tomorrow, with the south probably seeing light and patchy drizzle. And the temperature's not too bad. In spite of all that cloud, they'll reach a high of around 17 at best. That's about 63, but another grey day. Here's a summary.
Sponsored by Powergen, generating electricity whatever the weather.
Good evening. An aid worker from Sussex has been shot dead in Kenya. The body of 41-year-old Chris Morris from Lindfield was found dumped by the roadside at Kiganju, 150 miles northeast of Nairobi. Mr. Morris had been kidnapped by a gang led by one of Nairobi's most wanted men. He'd been working for the Farm Africa organisation. A few moments ago we spoke to Kate McKenzie, a journalist working in Nairobi.
The car was found about sort of Saturday evening. No sign of Mr. Morris. And then the next thing that was found was Mr. Morris on Sunday, and he'd been killed. He had 2 children, and he and his wife and his family were going to move on to Tanzania, and he was going to undertake another project there.
The tourist industry in the south is tonight counting the cost of one of the coldest and wettest Maybank holidays on record. Beaches along the coast were almost deserted, and inland tourist attractions reported a disappointing weekend.
The scene at Bournemouth today says it all. Miles of golden sands virtually deserted. Normally this bank holiday weekend has the resort bursting at the seams, but hardly anyone wanted a deck chair unless they also had a windbreak. Few locals ventured onto the beach, but there were some hardy folk who'd come south for the sun and seemed determined to enjoy themselves.
Miserable, probably is the best way of describing it. It's been very rainy yesterday, but we managed to find some shelter out at Bewley.
It's a bit cool, not a very good bank holiday, but we're enjoying ourselves, making the most of it.
They might look fed up, but they reckon it will brighten up eventually.
No good coming out on a holiday if you're going to worry about the weather, is it?
Doesn't seem to make you fed up.
No, we're British.
But even the British aren't buying much ice cream in the coldest May for centuries. It's a good job Sophie brought a good book with her. It wasn't any brighter in the New Forest. This campsite near Brockenhurst has room for hundreds of campers and caravanners. It's less than half full, and this afternoon many were heading home. Others, though, were philosophical about the weather.
Saturday was lovely.
Was it?
Yesterday it was tipping down. Yeah. Sunday it did get a bit wet.
Doesn't put you off, though?
No.
we're down here now, so we're going to be here for 2 or 3 days, so you've got to make the best of it, really, haven't you?
But the weathermen say it's not going to get much better. For those heading home early, at least it meant the M3 traffic was nowhere near its normal bank holiday level. Nigel Burwood for Meridian News.
Southern Water is at the centre of speculation over a new takeover bid. City experts are predicting that a £1.3 million offer from Scottish Power will be made within the next few days.
Southern Water has one of the industry's strongest balance sheets. Analysts say a merger between Scottish Power from Glasgow and Southern at Worthing would allow the new joint company to save millions in costs. But that could mean redundancies among Southern's 3,700 employees. The company supplies fresh water to 2 million users in Kent, Sussex, Surrey and Hampshire. It deals with wastewater for 4 million customers. What it'll mean for them is uncertain. It's thought that any bid by Scottish is unlikely to be referred to the Monopolies and Mergers Commission. That's because, although the new company will be one of the biggest in the UK, it wouldn't be centred in one part of the country. Shares in Southern Water, which closed at 681p on Friday, are expected to soar when trading starts tomorrow morning. Kevin Harrison for Meridian News.
Hundreds of people attended a fundraising event in memory of 4 children killed in a fire at their home in Southampton. Nicola, Alison and Terry Good died along with their brother Patrick 3 weeks ago. Today's event was held at Heathfield Junior School, where 2 of the children were pupils. Their parents survived the fire, along with their elder sister Kelly. She's still in hospital. More than 50 dogs have been killed in a fire in a mobile home in Hampshire. Their elderly owner was not at home at the time. The fire broke out in premises at Four Marks near Alton. Neighbours managed to free 5 animals, but they were unable to save the others. Finally, cricket, and wicketkeeper Adrian Ames saved Hampshire from defeat in their Britannic Assurance County Championship match against Durham at Portsmouth. Hampshire were looking an innings defeat in the face when Ames dug in with a defiant 21 not out to ensure a draw. And that's all the news from Meridian for today. We'll be back during GMTV from 6:15 tomorrow morning. Good night.
Meridian weather with Stena Line ferries. New horizons every day.
Now a look at the weather. Dry and clear tonight, allowing temperatures overnight to fall to 5 Celsius, with some mist around dawn. Tuesday will begin dry and bright, although the cloud will increase to bring rain by the afternoon. Top temperature, 15 degrees.
Call the Meridian Weather Line, sponsored by Stena Line Ferries.